No idea if any of this is going to work. We're all still working it out.
The person whom you're speaking to is currently unavailable.
Currently unavailable. You know what that means? That means a little bit of tap dancing for yours truly, because it is go time for happy hour. Hello, beautiful folks. I'm Brian Brushwood, all by myself. Last time this happened, started talking about my dead dog. So dead dog update. He says to the theme of Cowboy Bebop. So we have a deposit down on a pup that has yet to be conceived. Like right now, hopefully the bitch is rutting, which is not. I'm not being rude. I'm speaking scientifically when I say that. And they're making babies, but I think we want to get a female Weimar on her, and this is probably like when we think of. I personally believe that that you should look at the dog and then have the name come to you. But sometimes you fantasize about what the dog's gonna be like, and maybe the name comes to you. And we know that. Oh, here we go. We have one Andrew Heaton that I'm calling right now. Here we go. Hells yeah.
Hello, Brian.
Andrew Heaton. All right, look, is it a crime against humanity to decide on a name and then get a dog? Or do you have to get a dog and then look into its soul and discover its name?
You absolutely look into its soul and discover its name, Brian. Dog names are not given, they are revealed. That is a truth to the universe.
Okay, what if you already know the breed and you have already put down $100 towards it, and you already know the gender or sex or whatever, and you also think of a cool name?
I think you should keep it in mind, but I think you should meet the dog. I mean, the good news here is you don't have to get like a birth certificate for the dog, right? Like you don't have to have it when you get it, at the hospital. Like you can think about it for a couple of days before you got to file paperwork. I would meet the dog and make sure that it actually comports with that name. Because, like, let's say, I don't know, you're getting a Jack Russell Terrier, and it's a male, and you have your heart set on Bucephalus because you read this great book about Alexander the Great, and you just think it'd be, and then you meet him, and he's very clearly like a Skippy. Or something like that.
Yeah,
like his name is like
you know what this
Derpy
reminds
Face
me
or
of?
something.
When I was in high school, my BFF in high school, his little brother got a not a minx or a what do you call them, the long skinny things that get anywhere that the Beastmaster had to
You mean those kind of like
ferrets.
those
Ferrets.
like fur. Oh, okay, yeah.
So he got a ferret. Spent a very long time thinking
The
about
rich man's weasel, ferrets.
the rich man's weasel. I thought the rich man's weasel was Donald Trump, but no. Yeah. So he got a ferret. And of course, ferrets have those glands that are have odoriferous or whatever. But he thought really long and hard about what he was going to name this ferret, and then after much consideration, decided on Elmo. It's Elmo.
That sounds like
in
good
about
ferret name.
3 days, it was Smelmo.
Nice.
So this is what I'm afraid of, right?
It might evolve too. Like my first dog I had as a kid was a beagle, and I think we got her when I was 10, like around that age. And I wanted a butch, muscular male dog. I don't know. I just seen I think I'd seen Call of the Wild or something, and I basically wanted a German Shepherd on steroids. And my parents got us a beagle. And so I insisted on calling this female dog Wolfie, because I wanted a wolf.
You wanted
And it's
to.
over. I wanted this badass dog, and it's, I don't know when it happened exactly, but the name rapidly transmorphed into Woofy, Woofie, Woofie,
Right?
because she'd scold us and make woof noises,
Okay.
and
All right.
it fit, and I feel like that, it kind of, like, we had a starting position, and then it kind of morphed, and you should be open to that. They can mutate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know why, but I want to get a female Weimaraner, which we've talked a little
Those
bit.
are beautiful.
Yeah, right.
Those are the gray ones with the really pretty eyes, right?
Yeah. Also, I've heard them called like overly hyper Labradors, like very
Oh my
very
God.
friendly,
That's-
approval seeking. But
I've tried to because Labradors are not known for being sedate.
correct,
they're-
correct. But that's
they're,
fine.
They're already pretty high wired, so I'm trying to like imagine what a Labrador on speed would be like. But fortunately, you've got kids, so they can help out. I feel like that sounds like a full family dog.
Yeah, right. So, but for some reason, like once the past like what 3, 4, 4 dogs, four dogs I've had have all been male. Like growing up, I had all female dogs, but now it's like I think I'm ready to go back to a female dog, and for some reason, I want to name her Gertrude and call her Gertie. Is that one I should wait until after we meet to decide whether or not she's a Gertie or not?
I think you should for this. Well, first of all, I think Gertrude and Gertie are very different.
But that's just
Gertie,
is we get to call her
Yeah.
either one, right? Like that's
You know what? Well,
that's the
maybe
space.
you're hedging your bets here, because I was going to say Gertrude, to me, Gertrude has a
Or
touch of prissy to it.
Opal or some kind of
No,
1920s grandmother name.
Yeah, I like, exactly. I like Gertrude because Gertrude implies a little bit of prissy, very ladylike energy.
Yeah, right. But
Like,
of
I
course
see a
she's going to go
well-behaved
around,
dog.
gobbling up rock snakes or whatever.
At which point Gertie becomes the regular name, and Gertrude becomes the discipline name. Like, when I
mean,
get
well,
really mad
and
at you,
plus
and I'm
also, like-
Brian McGillicuddy Brushwood, how dare you use my, or whatever it's like a full name equivalent.
But
right?
you know what'll happen is like the ultra casual. If things work out, then it becomes just one syllable, where it's just Gert. Mildred would be a good one. Millie.
Yeah.
Millie or
Yeah, Millie's
Mildred.
pretty good.
And
I
like
like
Mill,
that.
get over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I already do that with it's funny because like Josie, my 12-year-old, her full name is Josephine. She goes by Josie. She gets on everybody's case when anybody alters her name. And I found out yesterday that that everybody gets in trouble, whoever calls her JoJo, except for me. like apparently it's a special place that it's like any derivation of Joe or J Dog or Joseph JoJo or whatever. I get away
I like
with.
that. It's like there's in the Sirens of Titan by Kurt Vonnegut, there's a character that there's like the kind of magical rich guy character, and his buddy that he hangs out with on Titan is this alien that I don't remember the exact dynamic, but let's say his name's Charles, but the alien calls him Chaz, and it pisses him off. And the reason he does it is that the alien's like, right, but I'm pissing you off because I know that I'm allowed to get away with it, and so every time I do this, I'm emphasizing the
I am
strength of our
honoring-
friendship.
Right.
Yes,
I am
exactly.
honoring the nature of our bond, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get into, like, I don't want to say trouble, but it was kind of weird.
Mildred's not bad. Mildred or Millie. What other old 1920s names are there for girls?
Esther, although Esther's harder to shorten.
Esther. S.
E-
Yeah.
what-
Essie. Yeah, you could say Essie.
Edith. I don't feel like you hear Edith. You might encounter an Esther. I don't think you encounter Edith very often anymore. Doris. I'm just going through family members right now, by the way. 'Cause I had
Your
my
entire
great-aunt
family was
Mildred.
born in 1922 when they were all female.
But you got to remember too that like I basically tumbled out of a Norman Rockwell painting. Like I happened to like dust myself off of the 80s, but I'm forever baffled by
Wait
the
a minute.
world
Hold
that I've
on.
come out in.
What about this? What if the dog's name was Ethanol, but she was called Ethel for short, or Ethy?
Ooh. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Like literally the fuel that has powered my career.
Wait, so what's the rollout plan on the future dog? When are you going to get her?
If we're lucky, they're rolling in the hay now, and sometime around September we'll see a pup.
Oh, they're all taken. So I'm presently in Oklahoma. For those listening, I'm actually looking out over the beautiful Lake Fort Gibson, and just sitting on a porch. It's really nice. And I've come to Oklahoma to escape what was basically solitary confinement in Los Angeles. There wasn't a lot to do, and I don't know.
Oh, are you feeling better just having so much more space? Has that made a big difference?
Yes. I like not to get too melodramatic, but the last month I was in LA, if it was an episode of a sitcom, it would have been called Heaton Goes Rope Shopping.
Yeah,
like it was just
and not to overstate it, but it's like you were having a tough time for a Weimaraner like you. You were really looking to encounter other people.
I'm a Labrador Retriever in cowboy boots. I'm very much a people person and an extrovert and gregarious and
and
really
awesome and smart
community.
And talented.
Thank
and
you.
Your coat is just so beautiful and shiny. My
I've got
goodness.
shiny hair.
You know what? I don't know why I'm talking about getting a dog. I should just have you move on down.
Move back to just move back to the.
You don't mind
the
being called
compound.
Wolfie, do you?
No, it'd be fine. Yeah, I can do that. I can go back to being the family dog. But no, I'm feeling a lot. But yeah, LA was tough because that was I moved there literally a month before lockdown happened. So I didn't have time.
You also did it for would
networking.
It be well for fairly mercenary reasons, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Very, very much. I moved out there for career purposes. I didn't move there for the splendor of the parking lot that is Los Angeles.
I mean, also for partner shopping reasons.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that. I think at this point in my life, Brian, we're at the phase where I need to focus on buying a jet ski.
Listen, I got a girl I want to hook you up with. We haven't decided her name yet, but it's either going to be Millie or Gertrude or Opal.
Totally get it. Well, that's what I was going to say is that so lockdown happened and it was like this cascade of you're too late, where lockdown happened and I was like, well, I guess I lost the biggest musical chairs competition in human history by being single at this time. Well, maybe I could at least get a dog. And I already was planning to get a dog. I already had I'd already bought the dog bed and dog toys and I already had all the shit. You get for getting I was planning on getting a dog.
Yeah.
And so I started calling up all these and they're like, oh, the dogs are gone.
Oh, the dogs are gone. You're too late even for a dog.
Yeah, and then I was like, I guess I'll get an Oculus Quest. Too late, fucker. The Oculus Quests are all sold out. I was like, I
was
got
there
on
for
some
that
waiting
part of it.
lists for dogs and but yeah, it was all months. Lockdown's the greatest thing that happened to dogs in American history. They're loving it.
Yes. What you saw that there was a meme that I retweeted that it was astonishing to me how many people did not get it. It looked like two op-eds side by side. Picture the pointillist style of the Wall Street Journal, and on the left it says, "Why not stay working from home forever? Buy a dog." And then the other says, "America needs to get back to work immediately. Buy a cat." And it was amazing how many people just did not get that joke, and they're all like, "Typical liberal,
they thought it was,
whatever."
Yeah, partisan squabbling.
Yes.
No, that strikes me as about right. Do you guys have a cat? I can't remember.
No. I'm allergic to cats.
How big your myriad is?
Yeah, no, I'm allergic to cats. Penny, whew, man, she's gonna get that. What was it? Toxoplasmia, in 20 seconds after leaving this house. She's gonna get 75 cats and immediately wear them all the time.
God, not me. So I'm very much a dog person. I'm all of my child rearing instincts are now funneling into buying my parents' dog toys. So I love dogs. I love them. If all the podcasting stuff I'm doing goes tits up, I'll just live in a van and rescue dogs and live by a creek. I'm fine with that existence. Love
and that's
dogs.
good because for every female dog you get 7 tits.
That's you're right. The tit balance would be favorable. I will acknowledge cats have a much wider array of personality types. I'm aware that there's more nuance to the differences between cats, but of the say 20 personality types that cats have, 18 of them are dicks. I do occasionally encounter cats, for whatever reason they're usually red, that I'm like, this cat's fucking awesome. I like this cat. He's cool. He sits in my lap. But then the other 18 are like, I don't want to be judged by an animal that shits in a box. I like that just seems imperious and unnecessary.
Hold on, let me wrap my mind around this.
Yeah, okay. To elaborate a bit more here, my roommates in Astoria, when I lived up in New York, they got 2 cats the day after I moved in, and the cats never warmed up to me. And I did make a good college try, and I was like, why don't the cats like me? And they're like, well, you just have to earn their respect. And I was like, I'm a goddamn Homo sapien, and I've never done that to another. Like if I had met you, Brian, the first time we met, which weirdly enough involved Macaulay Culkin. But the first time we met,
Yes,
if you'd been like,
correct.
"Hey, I'm Brian," and I was like, "Why the fuck should I care?"
I hadn't really thought about that part of things.
Yeah.
That's
it's
a great
like,
part of our
I literally
genuine
met,
story.
I met Macaulay Culkin and Brian Brushwood within 8 minutes of each other. And so far, Brian, you're a way better friend. I have a much deeper relationship with you than I do with Macaulay.
Although you'll be surprised to find out which one of us shits in a box. Go ahead though.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to get on the cat bandwagon. I don't that maybe if I had a big house, like maybe I'd get a cat if it were an outdoor cat, because I think that's part of the reason that they're weird. Is I don't think cats want to live indoors. I think they're barn animals, and I don't mean that derisively. I mean like they want to range and kill mice and stuff. And we're like, nah, I'm just gonna lock you in a shoebox. And then they're weird. Yeah, they're weird.
If I wanted more chores to do and double and more constant judgment, I would move to Utah and get a second wife. I mean, it's like,
man, that really be just driving into my face, Brian.
Oh yeah, the fact that I'm already married and happy.
Hanging out in my van, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll die alone, but at least I'll die alone as captain of my own ship. And meanwhile, you're like, man, my 2 hot wives keep fighting with me.
Let me tell you, I'm drowning in pussy over here. I'm sorry. Are you back on thinking about getting a dog, or where are you at on that?
I don't know. I think I'm back up in the default heat and circling a place to land state, because I was in Austin for like 6 months and it was like, I don't know where I'm gonna live. It was like flying around to Portland and stuff. And then I finally jumped to LA. And
You really did do the weirdest version of reverse American Idol ever. Like you did American Idol IDLE. You did like just not getting anything done, but just shopping for places to finally get started on the rest of your life.
I do have a very good idea of where I would like to live and places that I'm willing to weather and other places that I have no.
By the way, Papa Sparky in the chat is 100% correct. If I did have extra wives, I would absolutely share them with you. There is that.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, man.
Look it out for you.
Yeah. So here's my thought process. Is I'm planning to go back to LA sometime in August is the current plan. Although, like at the moment, there seems to be no point because there's nothing open, and I don't like. I moved out there to find comedy work and network, and if I can't even go to a diner and meet a producer, like there's just no point in it. So I'm eyeballing that, going, okay, is this a situation where I need to break my lease, cut my losses, and hunker down?
Did you, or are you still paying rent on a place you're not even in?
I'm still paying rent, but my landlord did say they'd release me if I found a replacement. I don't know how easy that is to do during a pandemic, but it's an option. And
have you tried saying like, I just want to go live on a farm where I can play and chase rabbits and just be happy forever?
That sounds great. Would be surprised. You know what the version of that for me is like you know how like a dog you like, or not that I would ever do this, but you're like, get in, we're going to the farm, and you drop the dog off at a farm. The version for me is just I would literally never even question if a limo pulled up next to me. Like pro tip for anybody wanting to kidnap me, you just have to show up at a limo and open the door and be like, get in. And I'll be like,
you just open it.
We're going on an adventure.
You pull down your Ray-Ban Wayfarer sunglasses just halfway and you say, it's time, Heaton. And then Heaton's not going to ask time for what. He's already in there.
Yep, I'm already.
He's already got a whiskey tipple poured. He's already texting his friends. I'm going to the farm.
I'm immediately like slinking to the back, looking for stuff to drink, and like asking the driver if I could smoke a cigar.
Well,
I'd be super easy.
People in the chat are already bringing up the obvious, which is, there's a certain 7-acre place that is unoccupied that you could.
God.
Do you realize, like, on the great list of people that Bonnie will be cool with just moving in and hanging out for a bit. The list is 1, and it's you. like,
I'm deeply flattered by that. I'm deeply flattered by that. It's a possibility, yeah. Because kind of what I'm looking at. I mean, you and I talked about this the other day of like when do things normalize? And your conclusion was they probably don't.
Oh no, they never do.
There'll be a new normal, but it won't be the old normal.
Right, correct. Like everything goes back to normal exactly 20 minutes after things go back. Oh, hold on, here we go. We'll see if we lose you. There we go. Justin Robert Young. What's up?
What's going on, fam?
I got one Andrew Heaton on the line. Let me see if I can get him back on. And adding one Andrew Heaton. We'll see if this works because right now both of us are on the screen. And oh, you know what? Maybe I have to send him.
Oh, he said he joined. It sounds like he's.
Are you there, Andrew Heaton? Oh, you know what? I'm muted, so he probably can't hear me. Andrew Heaton, are you there? Here, I'll send him the link to the thing.
Yeah, let's link him to the thing.
So we were talking about. Oh, there we go. Andrew Heaton, can you hear us? Andrew, can you hear us?
I can't hear you. Can you see me?
Yeah, we
Am
can.
am I one bar?
Yeah,
we're getting a big echo.
But yeah, do me a favor. I'm going to send you a link so you can be on the audio only back channel thing.
Okay, sounds good. So
although if he's on phone only, that I don't know if that'll work. But
no, I believe it works. There's an app
Does it?
you might have to download. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry to muck everything up.
No worries. We're just filling some time. Anywho, I'll tell you what. You wanna tap dance for me for just a wee bit?
Sure, folks. Hey, look. Here's the thing. Andrew Heaton. I've long said this, and I think it's more important now than ever to point out the fact that Heaton may or may not have lived his entire life on Indian land based on the ruling by today's Supreme Court.
Wait, what? Sorry, what? What just happened?
Half of Oklahoma is an Indian reservation, according to the Supreme Court today.
Holy cow. Okay. Doggone it. I wish there was an easy way for me to. Okay. Keep talking.
So, for those of you who didn't follow, it was a close decision, but one that was tipped by one of the Trump appointees, Neil Gorsuch, effectively saying that the U.S. would honor its treaties with the Indian nations, and that I think it's a Creek tribe that now basically has control over Tulsa and I think it was like 300 million acres of Oklahoma. Which is pretty wild.
I think Heaton is on Skype. Heaton, you're on Skype right now, right? So I'm gonna try killing the Opal, and then we could just do Skype for the rest. Justin, are you able to hear me? But I can't hear you.
To Skype?
I don't know. There we go. How's that? How about now? How you like me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can also hear myself.
Yeah. Well, here. Oh.
I can.
There we go. Nope. Man, I got nothing. Welcome to Tech Support Comedy Hour.
So I can still hear myself.
Okay. Well, then I'll mute that, and then you won't hear yourself.
Now I cannot hear you.
And now you can hear me because
Yes.
I clicked the buttons. Let me send a link to. Hold on. All right, we got this. So, what was the impetus on this final ruling?
This was a case that had been long gestating, where it's actually started on a really, really morbid note. There was a rape conviction.
Jeez.
That was being appealed on the fact that the government that convicted him was not legitimate, because indeed the state government had no cause to pursue any criminals on this Indian land. It should have been through this other federal office that does criminal justice there, and so indeed that's how it overturned.
So that makes half of all of Oklahoma sovereign territory?
Yeah, I guess it's technically, it's not like the city of Tulsa's government gets dissolved or anything. I think it's more about where bureaucratically certain things go.
Just buckle up for more casinos.
Maybe. I mean, I have. It seemed to me, as a totally uneducated person on this issue, that we are looking at a decision that is going to lead to a lot more decisions, because if you are taking, and the dissenting opinion made the case that, like, oh, well, this has been like this for 100 years. So you're going to have to retrofit everything that's happened over the last 100 years over the fact that there is now this legal precedent that all this land is owned by, is an Indian reservation.
Yeah. So do they break it into different Indian nations, or?
That I do not know. I am really, the only thing that is for sure right now is that the two cases that were brought as part of this specific challenge are now overturned. And it is likely that many more will be overturned going forward, and then retried under this other like federal organization.
Ooh, Oklahoma's got some work to do.
Well, actually, no. Oklahoma's like, good luck, federal organization. The state that tried all these people, I guess. We have no power here. It's all you, federal organization. Go take care of it. So if anything, I think it would be more worrisome for them if they all get overturned and then this on some level gets overturned and now they have to retry the cases that were thrown out. But, for all they care, they're like, whatever, man. You want to lease these courthouses, I guess?
Holy cow.
But we'll see. I guess we're just waiting to see if Heaton can link in.
Yeah, I sent him a link. He says he got the link, but he has to, you know how it goes. You have to download the app and then click on the thing, and then he'll pop in saying, "Hello, am I on?" And then we'll do the dance, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
We were previously talking about various dogs and whether or not a dog has to be looked in its eyes before it's given a name, or if you can come up with a name first.
Where are you at on that? I wasn't aware that this is a thing.
Well, we have a deposit down on hopefully 2 dogs fucking right now. Hopefully this moment 2 dogs are fucking, and they're Weimaraners, and
you're gonna get a puppy.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be a girl puppy. And I was thinking of silly girl names, and I really liked Gertrude, or Gertie for short.
Yeah.
Or I guess, I don't know, any old fashioned 1920s silver haired gem of a name, like an Abigail.
Yeah, a brassy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Is this just what you would throw into the pot? Like, and then the girls also get a say, or are you just, rolling in and saying, no. We all had a nice little conversation last time. This time, Papa picks the name.
I mean, yeah, we did all have, there were pitches before.
Yeah.
But I feel bizarrely entitled as the one who is hurting the most to just say, fuck all y'all, this is gonna be the name.
What is that? I mean, all right. I understand that the connection. I'm not trying to paper over, the obvious connection and pain you had from the entire Kepler experience, but counterpoint, they're children. They should probably, like, a child's experience with dogs are. I mean, I didn't have it. I just assume by movies and television shows that it's precious.
You know what? We're going to combine the top 10 female names in 1920, and the dog's name will be Mary Dorothy, Helen Margaret, Ruth Virginia, Elizabeth, Anna, Mildred, Betty. That will be the name of the dog.
By the way, I think I heard a Heaton. Is Heaton here?
I think we're hearing him scuffling on Skype.
Oh, is it still on? No, it doesn't look like he's on Skype anymore. Or is he?
Right. It says 2 of 3 are in the call. Yeah, so I guess.
Okay.
Maybe that's that's
that would just be me and you.
Yeah.
Yo, mama, and your cousin too. Yeah, but also, wait, was that at that time where every woman also had a nickname?
Yeah.
Like, nicknames were really, really hot.
That's what I like about it. Oh my God, it really does sound like he's on the line with us.
He's definitely on the line. I just don't know if he can...
Where are you?
Me? Well, I'm still in Wagner. I haven't transported anywhere. I wanted to make sure that we were talking about Mildred or whatever, and it cut out for a second too.
Oh,
So,
okay.
all right,
There we go. All right. Well, we're all on the same page now. Thank you very much for downloading the app and joining us.
Sure.
We're back to old fashioned names. And Justin is right. What I love about those old fashioned girl names is that they were all shortenable to many different levels. Mildred.
Well, they were
Millie.
often, yeah, but it wasn't even necessarily that they were the shortened version, like Tipper Gore. That was like she's like Helen or something, but her nickname is Tipper. There's like a whole
Wait,
yeah.
so if you just got an old timey name or even a semi old timey name, they just completely make one up.
Mary Elizabeth. Mary Elizabeth is her name. Tipper is her nickname, which she wound up kind of going by. But there was just a part of our culture for which you had your name, and then it was almost like your adult, woman name
this.
that you took yourself.
Like
Clementine is not a bad one. And I like Roxy. That's a good one.
Instantly, I think that in the future, because like right now, the trendy thing is to name girls with an I at the end of their name, or at least for them to spell it that way. So, Kiti, that kind of thing. I think all the names with I at the end are going to be the Mildred and Ethel of the 21st century. So like Brittany, Katie, Carrie, all that stuff, that's going to sound real old here in about 40 years.
Penny, Josie, Callie, they're going to be big, fat jokes.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to be so embarrassed that they name their kids that way.
They will all be Madam President. The gravity
Yes.
the gravity behind them will more than compensate for their hilariously atavistic names.
Fair enough. Did I hear right? Is Tom Hanks on the new Hardcore History or about to be?
Somebody, I think, said it in the chat, either on Night Attack or somewhere else. But apparently, there's some. I guess he does like an addendum
Common Sense,
podcast.
but Hardcore History. Yeah, he has
yeah.
Common Sense. That one would make more sense to me than having him on hard. I mean,
I don't. Does he still do Common Sense?
He's done one in the last 3 years. Like once Trump became president,
kept the feed up,
he was like.
My work here
this
is
isn't
done.
fun.
I've accomplished
he said,
what I set out to do to save America by electing Trump. I'm gonna
he's like, I
go
did
ahead
it. I personally made America great again.
Yep. I many years ago set up Steve Bannon to do my bidding for him. I could see him putting Tom Hanks in there. I mean, far be it from me to criticize the arc historical academic that is Tom Hanks, but I don't know how he would quite fit in on that.
He just did a historical movie, I believe.
So here it is. It is Hardcore History Addendum, a different podcast feed than Hardcore History. And indeed, the new episode features Tom Hanks talking about his movie Greyhound, out on Apple TV tomorrow.
I believe, if we're both paying attention to the same commenter in the chat, that Tom Hanks not thrilled that it's not getting a full theatrical release and instead is going straight to video on demand.
I mean, yeah.
I'll give him a little bit of slack since he actually had COVID. Because anybody else is like, God damn it, just fucking suck it up. It's not that bad. You're like, oh man, you need to go. Well, if Tom Hanks has suffered through it and risked death or whatever, I'll give him a little bit of slack.
Yeah, I think that's a hard one, right? Because on one hand, something's got to come out. And I guess if Sony probably got a Godfather offer from Apple, who has more money than God, to be like, all right, we need to make a big splash. Everybody's got the thing that people are watching week by week, and it was Hamilton last week. So fuck it. If you've got how much for that Tom Hanks movie? Not for sale, Apple. I'm going to start writing zeros, and you tell me when the Tom Hanks movie's on my streaming service. And they're like, fuck it, fine, take it. And Tom Hanks was mad. That's how I imagine it happened.
I didn't know. I think that was a documentary. I'm waiting for the Ken Burns cut. That's when the checkbook came out, and he just started writing zeros and said, "When is the Tom Hanks movie on my streaming
That is a
service?"
fair point. Open Bio says that he probably has a back end deal, and this pretty much prevents him getting any back
from
end.
making. Yeah,
Although
And
I'm
he's
sure they
probably-
sold
he's
it for a
probably
shit
doing
ton.
okay. I imagine he's all right financially at this point. He's probably got a good 401k.
I
You know,
think,
he's
yeah,
just
I think it's
semi-retired.
more. I think it's more like they wouldn't do that to a Spielberg movie. They would just shelve
Right.
it until movies theaters came back and then run it. And so I'm sure he's partially like, what the fuck, man? I'm Tom Hanks. I do a World War II movie once every 3 years, win an Oscar, go to sleep. Yeah, it's the end of it. Like, this is what I do, baby. You're gonna fuck with me like this?
you thought I lost weight during Castaway? You should have seen me during COVID. Come on, I've
Yeah.
been through the real shit.
Dude,
Dressed
I got
like
the
a girl.
Rona.
I,
My son's a weird rapper. Like, I got it going on, baby.
I was a 13-year-old in a 30-year-old man's body once. Come at me. It's Tom Hanks. I produced
Exactly.
the next Beatles that failed. In that one movie.
Wait, was that a real band? You're talking about the one where they had the Beatles knockoff?
That
and he
thing
was
you
like-
do?
Yeah, no.
Wait, was that a real band too?
No, it was no.
It's not a real
was-
band, no.
It was a real
Okay.
song.
Yeah.
That was his directorial debut.
Yep.
That thing you do, I
Yep,
believe.
Yep. And I believe to this day his production company is Playtone Productions.
Yep.
From that movie.
But yeah, no, bangers. All those songs are bangers.
Yeah. What else? What's on? Yeah, I'm trying to convince Heaton to. Oh, Heaton. Were you on the line when Justin asked, "Where were you when you found out that half of Oklahoma is returned to the Indians?"
What now?
Oh.
Yeah, so a couple of interesting developments. First of all, I found out last night I'm part Cherokee. Good for me.
Oh,
Shout out to the
good
tribe.
timing. Very
Yeah,
good timing.
Good timing. And I'm in eastern Oklahoma at the moment, which I don't remember. I think there's it's either 30 or 70 tribes that are located.
Wait,
in
hold
Oklahoma.
on, hold on. Where are you again?
I'm in Wagner, Oklahoma.
Wagner, Oklahoma.
Wagner County, which is northeast of Tulsa. It's not that far from Tahlequah, which is the capital of the Cherokee
No,
Nation.
Northeast. Holy crap. So according to a Supreme Court case today, you are officially on a Native American land.
Well, hey,
In fact,
first of all,
I
I would like to thank the American government for giving my people its land back that I found out about yesterday.
well, let me just say this. If last night you had committed a heinous crime, were convicted, and were in jail, as of today, you would be filing your appeal because you had been unjustly tried by a government that did not have
Jurisdiction.
did not have purview and jurisdiction in
so
your area.
a couple of follow-up questions. Did they just extend the borders of tribal territory? Like, do we still have the same? Is it the same
No.
political relationship between the Cherokee Reservation? Actually, it's not a reservation. The Cherokee Nation and Oklahoma and America.
Hold on, let me look it up. But the case that was ruled on today was an overturning of a rape case of all things that basically was on the idea that the state government had no right to try and imprison him because it was based on a treaty with the Indian
Yeah.
tribes that Oklahoma had
Wait,
Overrun.
Isn't this literally a Family Guy bit where it's like they can't find their address on the map, and so they decide it's sovereign territory, and Peter declares himself sovereign from the United States?
All right, so here we go. Here we go. The Supreme Court said Thursday that a large swath of eastern Oklahoma, including Tulsa, is Native American land for purposes
Holy
of federal
fuck, that's
criminal
a huge
law.
deal.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh my God, really? Whoa.
In a decision that the state argued could call into question thousands of state prosecutions for serious crime.
Oh man, that like and taxes and gambling and tobacco. There's a bunch of things that are that's a huge fucking deal.
I'm sorry. Left off that list would be weed.
Yep. Well, weed was already legal, but maybe it'd be taxed less. I don't know. Yeah, like so previously, like it's real complicated, and I've got a decent. For someone that's only ever played an attorney in sketch comedy at 11 p.m., I've got a decent understanding of how law works based on that threshold. It's real confusing when you get into tribal law because the tribes are considered sovereign dependencies, which sounds inherently contradictory to me. And it's also this weird thing where it's not like they can't issue passports, and even domestically, they don't have total sovereignty. So like Oklahoma's like it's this weird like Oklahoma's like a gaming type 2 state. So we allow horse racing, but we don't allow other things. And so
dog fighting.
Yeah, exactly. We finally banned that. So Indian casinos that are on Indian land, they can do some of the stuff, but not all of the stuff. Like there's some amount of play with the state government. I've never been able to quite figure it out. But that said, though, kind of local taxes, local courts, and prosecution that takes place. I mean, that is a separate political entity than the state of Oklahoma.
That's a federal. Yeah. That is so now they would be the ones to try any kind of federal crimes. This, according to the swing vote, Trump appointee Neil Gorsuch on a 5-4 opinion. Who said, today we are asked whether the land these treaties promised remains an Indian reservation for purposes of federal criminal law. Because Congress has not said otherwise, we hold the government to its word. So it sounds like this is mostly only going to affect like convictions and prosecutions and stuff like that. So this will not necessarily totally...
Not to besmirch was it to Cherokee Nation or which nation did they hand over Tulsa to?
A bunch of them. It's Cherokee, Choctaw, Seminole, and Muskogee. And Creek.
Well, not to besmirch any of my fellow apparent Native or my apparently fellow Native Americans. I would be very surprised if the prosecutorial docket in said nations was sufficiently large to encompass the amount of arrests coming through Tulsa on a regular basis. So there's definitely going to be a procedural backup. If that is the case, if they suddenly go, hey, Osage County, you are now in charge of 400% increase in your court system. So I'm curious as to what they're going to do with that. They might even have to let people off because they are constitutionally guaranteed a quick trial. You can't just leave them lingering indefinitely. Yeah. So they might have to be very careful in who they decide to prosecute.
Well, yeah, it looks like at least the two that were like the precedent for the case are definitely overturned. And now we'll wait to see who else petitions based on this to say, yep, you ain't got no hold over me, lawman. I apply only to to tribal justice.
Yeah, wow, no, that's going to be that would be really it'd be interesting because to my knowledge, there's no major city on tribal land. I could easily be wrong about that, but I feel like usually they like Milwaukee, I don't think is on top of the Sioux reservation or anything like that. So if that winds up being the case, it'll be interesting to see how they would adjudicate that. My guess is that Tulsa will basically ignore the tribal governments in everything but prosecutions, just because I don't know how you could. It would be weird to suddenly go, yep, everything here's fake. None of it's real.
I'm just saying this is the biggest viral preamble to The Purge, Native Nation coming next year. It's the only way to make things right.
Gorsuch opened his opinion evoking this history. On the far end of the Trail of Tears was a promise. Forced to leave their ancestral lands in Georgia and Alabama, the Creek Nation received assurances that their new lands in the West would be secure forever.
Mm-hmm.
Busted.
Yeah,
so there we go.
That was not a that was not exactly followed through. That was not exactly
No.
followed through. It was
Yeah, it was Gorsuch and the 4 liberal justices dissenting: John Roberts, Kavanaugh, Alito, and Thomas.
Huh. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a deep dive on that. That's interesting stuff. I'm really curious to see if that's just kind of if that winds up effectively being mostly symbolic with very little procedural impact, or whether that actually has massive policy implications, which it'd be cool. I'm rooting for these tribes. I think they should all get to issue passports and shit. I think that'd be cool. And you know what? I'll say this on behalf of Oklahoma tourism: if you had to actually go through passport control to go to the Cherokee Nation, and it set its own laws, the only rule is you can't put a Chinese Air Force base in it, but otherwise it's its own country. All these people would start flying to the middle of the country from Germany now. They're like, yeah, we'll go to that new country out there.
That would be a franchise, right? Let's just spin up some new countries out here.
I mean, it does sound an awful lot like you just described Orlando, but maybe there's something more for the Germans.
Yeah, I don't know. Germans like the whole cowboy and Indians thing. A lot of the tourism in Oklahoma is from Germans, at least from when you get into the international area. There's not a lot of tourism, but when it's international, it's usually German, so they might fly over. Yeah, but I don't know. I just I kind of here's a radical. I kind of think we should get rid of the states and just have 90 to 400 city states. The Constitution still exists and everything. All the civil rights you get, we don't fuck with those.
I mean, I can't decide. I believe you're describing the concept of burbclaves from Snow Crash. Literally the idea of independent city states, each one being a suburban dystopian nightmare.
Well, hold on. In Snow Crash, aren't they? They're not really geographically based, are they? I thought that was more of like corporations sort of became more powerful than the government, and you sort of bought a membership within a franchise.
Yeah. You could be a citizen to various franchises, like a Costa Nostra or whatever. But where you lived geographically, everything was burbclaves, suburban enclaves that were city states that you paid for your own security forces, and you could choose to drive on different brands of roads, like Versatrans or Highway Inc. or whatever.
Well, the highway thing would be obnoxious, but the whole
it's also what we literally have right now. We have city-run roads that are being so poorly maintained that literally they say, who wants to take over maintenance on this road? You could charge money for it, and then people are doing it. It's already happening.
Yeah. All right then. All right. Sold.
That was we've mentioned this before, but one of my favorite parts of rewatching RoboCop is a scene that was definitely meant to horrify everyone, taking place in when the movie came out in 1986, 87. You got all these screens, and you've got this corporate CEO type, and he's walking saying, "Healthcare, space travel, law enforcement." They used to say only governments could do these things, but now Omni Consumer Corporation has taken care of all of them.
I didn't see RoboCop until I was hosting a series called Econ Pop, where I would explain economics through film, and I'd never seen RoboCop before, so I learned about economics before I learned about RoboCop. And this is like, I may be 32 when I see it for the first time, and I had the exact same thing, Brian, where I'm watching it, and I was like. So these are the good guys, right? this guy in a vest who's gonna restore urban Detroit from its decaying malaise by privatizing an island and letting people but then he throws a guy out a window, and I'm like, oh, I guess he's a bad guy. Initially I was like, oh, cool. They've got this very liberal reformer.
I think I saw something on Twitter that said you had done a video, or maybe you're talking about that podcast where you ran down why RoboCop Detroit was probably a better place to live than modern day actual Detroit.
Yeah, that's basically it. Because I've been there twice. I went there. I've done 2 videos that involve Detroit. So Econ Pop is just it's describing we'd pick a couple of concepts in a film. I did it with Emergent Order down in Austin, where Brian is. And we'd pick a concept in a film, and then we'd explain it via the film. And I think I don't remember explicitly, but I think but when we did RoboCop, it was mostly about how awesome privatizing things is. I think we sort of,
Yeah.
I think we rather avoided the actual conclusion of the film and focused on some of the basic premises. And then I also went up to I went to Detroit here a couple of years ago. I was hosting a series called Mind Your Business, where it was sort of a travel show where I'd interview entrepreneurs. And there was a guy up in Detroit named Dale Brown, and Dale runs a private security firm and does great work, in my opinion. I went up expecting to find a very mouthy, neck beard libertarian, and and I ended up finding this a very nice black guy that runs this sort of violence, anti-violence, de-escalate the situation thing. He doesn't use guns. He just tries to protect communities and does a good job. If I lived in Detroit, I'd hire him.
By the way, have you plugged your new podcast and the guy that you had on your new podcast on here yet? Because
No,
it
but
seems like
may
it's
I?
gotten a
Because
lot
that was-
of yeah.
That's certainly
Go
got the
ahead.
most online stuff I've ever got, or at least on social media. That's certainly got the most chatter on that. Yeah, so I interviewed this amazing guy. His name is Daryl Davis. People might have seen him on TED Talks previously, and I think he kind of did an initial run through media a couple of years ago. But Daryl Davis is a musician out of Baltimore, a very talented musician. And a few years ago, he was performing piano at a bar, and a guy came up, and when I've never heard a black guy play piano like that, and I'd like to buy you a drink. And Daryl went, well, it's kind of weird that you've never heard a black guy play boogie woogie, but okay. And accepted the drink, and come to find out over the course of the conversation, not only has the guy never heard a black guy play piano like that, he's never met a black guy before. This is the first time he's ever had a drink with a black man. And then come to find out that the man's in the KKK. And Daryl Davis, fascinatingly, while finding that an odious viewpoint and odious membership, he was genuinely more curious than he was angry about how that happened. And he ended up embarking on this process of befriending Klansmen over years and years, where he'd meet the Grand Dragon of the KKK out there in Maryland, and he'd start calling him and be like, "Hey, it's me, Daryl. I've got to run some errands. Do you want to hop in the car with me?" And they just drive around, and he'd be this black guy's hanging out with the Grand Dragon of the KKK, chatting about football and the weather, and also about race and stuff like that. And he's basically, after a few years, these guys go, shit, I can't be racist anymore. I really like this guy.
Well, and
I'm friends with him.
doesn't he have a closet of all the hoods
Yeah.
he's collected?
He has over 200 hoods from people that have renounced the Klan, and they send their hoods to him. And I didn't even talk about neo-Nazis, but apparently knows some of that. He's an amazing guy. I think he's an absolute
Neo-Nazis,
hero. With that.
he collects scalps
Yeah.
because they're all skinheads. Never mind.
But he's amazing, and it was a wonderful interview. I was really, really happy to talk to him, and that is on my show for anybody new on the Political Orphanage. The Political Orphanage is the name of the show. It's the most recent one. Daryl Davis attends Klan rallies, but yeah, he's a fascinating guy to talk to. He is a very much in that vein of Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela, that we solve conflict through contact, and that racism is born of ignorance, and you can do a lot to fix it merely by getting to know people. And I think he's an amazing man. He's one of
I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that anybody who actually does that out in the field, probably a pretty good interview, probably pretty easy to talk to.
Well, there was a moment, Brian, where I'm talking to Daryl, and you and I have spoken about this off camera, that I'm very skittish, despite the fact that I do a political podcast. I'm very skittish about politics, and I'm always afraid that I'm going to piss people off, or I'm going to say the wrong thing, and they're going to quit being friends with me, or whatever. There was a moment during that interview where I'm talking to Daryl, and he's describing this relationship he has with the Grand Dragon. And I'm like, so how far into this is he's like, well, so I knew him 8 years before he renounced the Klan. And I'm like, okay, so 6 years in, you've known this guy 6 years, he's still the Grand Dragon of the KKK. How would you describe your relationship with him? And he's like, oh, I was friends with him. And he's just very upfront. He's like, I was friends with him. He had horrible, horrible ideas. I hated his ideas, but I liked him as a person. I enjoyed his company, and we were friends. And I would invite him over to my house. And at that point, I was like, there is nothing I'm going to say it's going to piss this guy off. Like
Yeah.
if he could literally be friends with the Grand Dragon of the KKK, if I'm like, I'm not for raising minimum wage to $50, like no one's going to fly off the fucking handle at me.
And then the
Like,
words
although-
came out of
although-
your mouth. The special editions were better. And then
Yeah.
it was all over.
How funny would that be if you found his breaking point? Like all of the KKK couldn't, and you
The
have the
Jar
most
Jar Binks
innocuous
fucking
point.
blew it
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Han shot second.
Yeah, but no, he was cool. It was a good interview. I was really excited to talk to him.
That's awesome. As a matter of fact, I saw that one and I almost started it, but I had to start the one before it about environmentalism as a religion, secular religion, which I thought you did a really good job of not. It doesn't sound nearly as incendiary as the title does.
Well, as I said, I'm a coward, and so I didn't. Yeah, well, but the point of it too, like I tried to. I think the title of it is something like "How to Not Think Religiously About
Climate
Change."
Yeah.
And I intentionally worded that to not be directed at any particular partisan vantage point, because I think anybody can become that way. Like I've met Chris, like I literally had a conversation when I was in Capitol Hill where I'm talking to another staffer, and I mentioned something about I was concerned about rising sea levels, and he point blank told me I didn't need to worry about it because God had made a pact with Noah, and that he would never again flood the earth, and so I could rest well knowing that God had, and I'm like, this is just like, so I think you can come at it religiously from any vantage point. I tried to keep it nonpartisan because it wasn't my it was not my desire to like wail on anybody or go, this team's good, this team's bad. What I wanted to do is just try and get people in the habit of approaching it scientifically and from a policy perspective. Just how do we there's a problem here, how do we approach it rationally as opposed to approaching it spiritually? Like let's deal with energy as as a cost benefit analysis rather than yay oil totem or yay solar totem. Like let's not view this as spirit animals, let's view this as science. And
Yay,
she was great for
oil
that.
totem would be like such an awesome metal name, like
Yeah.
for a hardcore white right wing death metal group.
Yay oil totem does sound like the MAGA black rock band. Yeah.
All right, well, here we're gonna take us out with Yay Oil Totem. Thank you so much for joining us, Andrew Heaton.
My pleasure.
We'll see you guys tomorrow for another Night Attack Happy Hour. If I can figure out how to do the thing, I could do the thing. Hold on. Left hands. See, two hands. This is why, as part of that covenant,